What if I told you that the crops most gardeners completely overlook in June are actually the ones that will save your harvest later in the year? Not the fancy ones, not the expensive seeds, the simple, almost forgotten ones sitting right under your nose. Stay with me to the end of this video because number 7 alone might change how you think about your entire garden. Welcome back to Gentle Greens, the place where we grow smart, spend less, and still eat well. If you're new here, so glad you found us. This channel is all about keeping your garden thriving without draining your wallet. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a tip. And if you've been here before, welcome home. Before we dive in, do me one quick favor. Drop a comment below and tell me what you're currently growing in your garden. I read every single one. Now let's get into it. Crop 1, Malabar spinach. Most people go hunting for regular spinach in summer and wonder why it keeps bolting and turning bitter on them. Malabar spinach doesn't do that. It actually loves the heat. It climbs, it spreads, it looks beautiful on a trellis, and it gives you those thick, glossy leaves that hold up even in stir-fries. The flavor is mild with a slight earthiness, and it keeps producing as long as you keep harvesting. Plant it in full sun, give it something to climb, and this vine will reward you for months. Crop 2, yard-long beans. Forget regular green beans for a moment. Yard-long beans, also called asparagus beans in some places, are built for June heat. They sprout fast, grow tall, and produce those long dramatic pods that honestly look like they belong in a market stall. They're tender, slightly sweet, and you can cook them exactly like green beans. They just produce more, survive heat better, and take up vertical space instead of ground space. If you're working with a small garden, this one is a no-brainer. Crop 3, sweet potato slips. Here's one people sleep on every single year. If you can get sweet potato slips in the ground by mid-June, you are perfectly on track for a fall harvest. Sweet potatoes ask very little of you. They don't need rich soil. They don't need constant watering once they're established. What they need is warmth, and June hands that to them freely. The vines will spread and create ground cover that actually suppresses weeds while the tubers quietly bulk up underground. Plant them now. Dig them up in October. Simple as that. By the way, if this video is already giving you ideas, go ahead and smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more garden lovers just like you. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. We drop practical, budget-friendly garden content regularly, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Crop 4, okra. Okra is one of those plants that June was made for. It sulks in cold weather, but the moment temperatures climb and that soil warms up, it takes off with almost zero effort from you. The pods grow quickly, sometimes faster than you'd expect, so check your plants every couple of days. Pick them small and tender for the best texture. Okra also attracts pollinators with its beautiful flowers, which benefits everything else in your garden too. Crop 5, moringa. This one sounds exotic, but it's actually incredibly easy to grow in warm weather. Moringa is sometimes called the drumstick tree, and once you plant it in June, it grows at a pace that will genuinely surprise you. The young leaves are packed with nutrition and have a mild, slightly peppery taste that works in soups, smoothies, and sauces. You don't need a massive plot. Even a large container works. It handles dry spells without drama and keeps giving you fresh leaves throughout the season. Crop 6, Armenian cucumber. Regular cucumbers can be finicky in peak summer heat. Armenian cucumber doesn't have that problem. Technically, it's more closely related to melon, but it tastes and looks like a long, pale cucumber with a thin skin you don't even need to peel. It thrives in the exact conditions June throws at it. Grows fast, produces heavily, and the plants are incredibly resistant to the powdery mildew that usually wipes out regular cucumbers mid-season. Crop 7, cowpeas. And here's that number 7 I mentioned at the start. Cowpeas, also known as black-eyed peas or southern peas, depending on where you grew up, are one of the most underrated garden crops you can plant in June. They fix nitrogen in your soil while they grow, which means they're actually improving your garden bed at the same time as feeding you. They tolerate poor soil, handle drought with grace, and produce a steady harvest of pods you can eat fresh or dry and store for months. They ask almost nothing and give back more than most crops twice their effort. Crop 8, Egyptian walking onion. This one gets people curious the moment they hear the name. Egyptian walking onions produce small bulblets at the top of their stalks. When those bulblets get heavy enough, the stalk bends over, the bulblets touch the ground, and they plant themselves. That's where the walking comes from. Plant a few now, and they will quietly multiply and spread across a small bed on their own. The flavor is sharp and punchy, perfect for cooking, and the greens can be used like chives or scallions. Low effort, self-sufficient, and genuinely interesting to watch grow. Crop 9, lemongrass. If you've ever bought lemongrass from a market and thought about planting it, June is exactly the right moment. It's a tropical plant that settles in fast during warm months. Once established, it grows into a full clump that you can harvest from repeatedly by cutting the stalks at the base. Use it in teas, soups, and marinades. It also acts as a natural pest deterrent in the garden, so it earns its spot twice over. Crop 10, snake gourd. Last on the list, but not least. Snake gourd is one of those vegetables that looks almost theatrical when it grows, long and twisting like it's showing off. It needs a sturdy trellis and warm conditions, both of which June gladly provides. The young fruits are picked while still light green and tender, with a mild flavor similar to zucchini. The plant grows fast and produces generously. Once you start harvesting, you likely won't stop until the first cold snap reminds the garden that summer is ending. There you have it. 10 crops that June is genuinely waiting for you to plant. The key thing to remember is you don't have to plant all 10 at once. Pick the 2 or 3 that make the most sense for your space and your cooking, and get them in the ground this week while conditions are ideal. Your future self will be grateful come harvest time. If you found this helpful, drop your favorite crop from this list in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious which one you're going to try first. Like this video if it added something to your gardening plans, and subscribe to Gentle Greens so we can keep growing together. See you in the next one.